uh, Chelsea, myself, Ashley, and
Pravina.
Trevina.
Yep.
Okay,
So we need a
And
motion
don't
to
forget about
excuse.
Richard. Richard's
Yep,
here.
I got you, Richard. We need a motion to excuse Mr. Booth and Mr. Miners.
I move to excuse Mr. Miners and Mr. Booth.
Now second that.
okay, and is Ron on here? Ron Johnson?
Not
Not
yet.
yet.
Will he be on, do you know?
I believe he's going to be on. We can go ahead and also, provided there's no objection, include him in the motion. And then if he joins us, I'll make sure we note that he's joined us.
Okay, that'll work fine.
Okay.
So we've got the roll call, and we have to take a vote on the motion to excuse. So if there is no discussion, do we have any discussion on that motion? None? Okay. Then we will ask all in favor, indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed? No.
Aye.
Oh, we have an opposition? Who's opposed?
No one.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
That was an aye.
Okay, so they are excused, and we will move on to
Minutes.
the minutes of the meeting from last month. Does anybody have any corrections or amendments to the meetings, to the minutes? Nobody has any? If so, the chair will entertain a motion to pass the minutes as written. We need a motion? Somebody want to move?
I motion to pass the minutes as written.
Okay, Richard moved. Who seconds? I can't-
Second.
Chelsea?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that was Chelsea. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
And no opposed? Okay, we'll move on to the reports.
Mr. Chairman, I will note that Mr. Johnson has joined us.
Oh, wonderful. I don't see him on my screen yet, but I'm sure he'll be there. Okay. The only reports I have are, there were two, and I have one. I managed through the Civil Service Commission, we had our meeting last week, and I noted that I needed to get a COVID shot for my wife. And Johnny Houston, chair of that commission, called me Sunday and said, Ed, they're giving shots. And if you sign on the computer, you can get it. And I did. And my wife got her first shot, a Pfizer shot, at the Lincoln Heights Memorial Baptist Church over in Lincoln Heights. So my wife and I both have received our first shot, and our daughter, who's special needs, received hers. I had another comment, and I want to apologize to everybody first for my being tardy. But I've been at Bethesda Hospital or Tri-Health Group Association the entire day with both my wife, who all of you know had a broken hip, and then our daughter. She went to the emergency room 3 Fridays ago and was diagnosed with a UTI. And when you took the scans, they noticed, and we just got word this last week through a biopsy, that she has breast cancer. So we went today and we had to discuss potential remedies, which we have 2 more meetings to further discuss those, to see if she's going to do surgery or chemo or both. So I just got home totally. I have to be honest, I totally forgot about the meeting. We just were eating, and when the phone rang, I was caught totally off by surprise. As you know, normally that doesn't happen, but on this occasion. Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I'm sure everyone joins us in wishing you and your family and your daughter, our best and prayers for a hopeful, speedy recovery. And I also want to say, Ed, if I had known anything about this, I certainly wouldn't have bothered calling you. I would have just let you alone.
No,
So
I don't.
please, if you feel the need to gather your thoughts or something this evening, that's fine. I'm sure Vice Chairman Clark would be able to handle the meeting, but I want to thank you for joining us. But I feel awful that I called you now.
No.
I said, hey, Ed, where are you?
I never miss
sorry.
the meeting, and I'm
I know.
usually 10, 15 minutes early, but if you wouldn't have called, I would have totally forgot the meeting until 10 o'clock tonight.
Well, that's it. I mean, Ed Stadnick never misses a meeting. That's why I
Right,
called.
and
So.
that is why I'm here, Ed.
Thank you, Chelsea.
We've got your back, honey, and we want to make sure that you guys are first and foremost always your family is well taken care of. So.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for those comments, both of you. I'm sure everything will go well. It just takes some time, and we have to keep our, positive mental attitude all the time, and we'll go from there. The other comment I had, let me think about it. What was it? Oh, darn it. I'll have to save it for under old business because I can't remember what it was. But I did want to mention that Johnny Houston got me in touch with a website that we were able to schedule a COVID shot for my wife. Now, as I understand it from SAMS and from Tri-Health, they're due to get a ton of vaccine this next week. They have both told me that. So I don't know if there's anybody on the commission that is in need of a COVID shot, but a lot of you may not meet the level 1 age criteria, but I'm thinking it's going to be right around the corner that you folks will be able to get it. I'm hoping. That's all my comments. We'll move to we have a Miss Adams. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. I'd like to know if you would be willing to share that website with us, only because I know possibly any of our Forest Park residents that meet the age requirement. And also I have a mother-in-law who's 82 who we'd like to get the shot for as well. So
I will forward you that immediately after the meeting, okay?
thank you, sir, very much.
You're very welcome. Okay. I guess we move to the council liaison report.
Just following up on your COVID report, as I've been saying, register wherever you can through your primary health care advisor. If they are in a network, register through that network, register through the Hamilton County Public Health Association. And because as many different options as you have for registering, that's the best way to go. The second thing is I happened to be in the municipal building this weekend and noticed that they were renovating the reception area. So they've been doing a number of upgrades while the buildings have been closed to the public to accommodate more facility, to create within the facilities greater safety measures for the staff and for residents when we reopen in terms of this COVID pandemic. The other thing I wanted to mention is that we have been notified as council members that the school is having their ribbon cutting on March 8th at 3 p.m. So that's all I have right now. Council's just meeting and doing routine things by and large. So
Thank you for that report, Councilwoman Herbie. I will give you a number right now because I've been down it every day. Tri-Health has a phone number of 8, it's a 513 area code actually, but 86 and spell out COVID, COVID. And if you dial that number, and I dialed it every day up until when I got my wife's shot 2 days ago, or yesterday, whatever it was. At any rate, they constantly tell you that we have no vaccines available, but the only place giving the shot was someplace far east past Anderson and Florence. That was just Monday. And I wasn't about to drive to either of those places with my wife to get her the shot. Unfortunately, Johnny called me and told me that it was available. But if you call H6 COVID, they will, if they have vaccines, they will say, we have the vaccine and we are giving the shots at these areas. Please go online to Tri Health Associates and make an appointment for one of those sites. That's how that works. And the site that I'm going to send, do you want me all to send you that site that Johnny Houston sent me? I'll send it to everybody. That had a lot of appointments on today's Wednesday, Tuesday and Wednesday. And I signed up for the first available appointment, which was yesterday morning at 9:40. Now, I don't know if they continue on after today or not, but I'll send you that site anyhow, because I know they're giving the second shot there. And this is a new thing that I just found today, and I checked with our good friend, the pharmacist at Sam's. When they told us the shot we were getting was Pfizer, I said, okay, I had the Pfizer shot when my wife gets it. So that's 3 weeks till the second shot, right? Well, they said, no, it's 4 weeks. And I said, well, forgive me, but I got my second shot scheduled in 3 weeks, and I was told Moderna is 4 weeks. Well, then they called someone over and they said, this is what the gentleman said. And they said, well, the CDC has sent out a new directive that you have up to 42 days to get your second shot for either Moderna or Pfizer. So some places are giving it at 3, some places are giving it at 4. I really don't care if the CDC says within 6 weeks. I'm happy to take it 3, 4, 5 weeks, whatever they allow. But I wanted to make those points to you, relative to the COVID. Anything else, Councilwoman Herbie?
No, I've heard that too, that it's easier to just schedule 4 weeks for both the Moderna and the Pfizer, regardless, because it depends on what they're going to get. And so it's just easier for them to schedule both of them 4 weeks out.
Okay. All right. Any of the other council members have anything to report? If not, the EDC director, Paul Brem, do you want to give your report, Paul?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In your packets that I emailed to all of you was a written report that you should have. If you have any questions on those items, I'd be more than happy to answer them. I will bring your attention to a couple of items that are ongoing. Liberty Mutual is moving forward with their office renovation project at Carillon Business Park. This is part of the $10 million renovation that Emeritus undertook. So that project is moving forward. We anticipate they'll be in the building sometime, hopefully in the first quarter. Obviously, that's provided they can do that safely and with their folks. Initially, that project, I think they were hoping to be in the building much sooner, but obviously they're dealing with the effects of COVID as well. But that project is moving forward. Fax and Machining has completed their expansion project and renovation of the Ackerman building. The library project, we've had ongoing discussions with the folks at the library. That project is moving forward. I anticipate that what will happen is the new library will, in all likelihood, be sited at the corner of Waycross and Sharon on the site of the old Forest Park Activity Center. For those of you that remember the activity center and swimming pool area, that's where the new library will probably go. So we are looking forward to that project and working with the library to see if we can't expedite the construction schedule of that. On the redevelopment side, we are working with the owners of Northland Tower on a possible renovation project that would involve the conversion of that to another use. So instead of office space, it would become basically part of a residential project. It's actually interesting. We need a lot more information before we can make any, make any final determination on it. But it would be about a $7 to $8 million project. This is not, something that's kind of a cheap alternative. This would be a pretty significant renovation of the tower. And we're quite interested in hearing from the owner and how we can work with them. It's very early in the process at this point. So it's no reason to get excited about it, but I think this is a demonstration that there is some interest in doing some work here. For those of you who have been following the Promenade Shopping Center project, as many of you know, we were very close to a deal to renovate the entire shopping center. The city actually made a bid in partnership with the developer we were working on to acquire the property. And we were outbid by several $100,000 by a group out of Texas that is a legitimate shopping center redevelopment firm. We haven't had any discussions with them. We do have some discussions possibly scheduled for next, either at the end of this week or beginning of next week. I can't say much about it yet. However, I can tell you they have apparently closed on the property. And the other thing I can tell you is it's a legitimate developer. I mean, this is not a fly-by-night crew by any stretch of the imagination. They have the resources, the wherewithal, the management expertise to help us turn the property around. So I think it's going to be interesting. It's obviously going in a different direction what we intended, but in the long run, it could be a way for us to redevelop Promenade Shopping Center without putting as much of our dollars into the project. I think we will have to work with them in some way, shape, or form, but I don't think that we will have to make the kind of investment that we were talking about if we were going to acquire the shopping center ourselves. So this is an interesting project. Now, the good news, the even better news, is that the project that started this whole process, the Kid Coffee 1194 West Kemper renovation with Dan Nair, that project is still moving forward.
Good.
So and this is something I think we're going to find out with COVID. The one impact of COVID has been to slow these projects down a great deal. Things that would have taken us, 3 to 4 months to complete are now taking 6, 7, 8, even a year long to get everything finished. There are issues with securing the financing, getting everything in place, getting all the approvals. Primarily the financing seems to be taking a little longer than it used to. So the project's moving forward. Both Kid Coffee and Dan and I are committed to it. We're trying to work out the details of their package and get that done. But at the end of the day, we may end up getting a renovated Promenade Shopping Center, and hopefully at a cost that's much lower than what we originally anticipated. That said, I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. We need to sit down with this developer and find out what their plans are. But again, at least the early indication is that this is a legitimate developer capable of redeveloping the property. And then, of course, I think all of you may have heard Mr. Miners. One of the reasons he's not on the call with us tonight is because Eddie is closing on his property on Hamilton Avenue to bring the second restaurant, La Rosa's Restaurant, to Forest Park. This is obviously a much better use than the car title loan place that was in there originally. So we're very thrilled with that. And if you look across that shopping center now, we have Ollie's, we have O'Reilly's Auto Parts, we have McDonald's, we have La Rosa's, we'll have Frisch's, Subway. The mix in that shopping center is actually not bad. If we can just work with the owner maybe to fix it up a little bit, the mix of stores is actually pretty competitive for a shopping center that size. So we've got some work to do on that corner, but that's moving along. And that would conclude my report.
Thank you, Director Brim. I would like to note that Commissioner Johnson arrived at 7:20 AKA Anisha. I'm not sure who Anisha is. So I want to make note of that. And Ron, so that you get caught up, did you have any report as a commissioner? We all had an opportunity to give our reports, but you hadn't signed on yet.
I did not have a report. I am sorry.
That's quite all right. No problem. Okay, moving on. Paul, you want to go through your development plan?
Actually, tonight we were going to cover under unfinished business, the Minority Business Assistance Initiative. If Chelsea had an update on that. And then we have a presentation under new business. We have another local business owner who has stepped forward with a concept that she wanted to share with us on the EDC on a potential partnership to help market our economic development program. It's a little bit different from the one we discussed last month, but why don't we go ahead, Chelsea, I don't know if you have any updates on your Minority Business Assistance Initiative you've been working on?
Yes, I do. How are
Well,
you
there
guys?
go.
Yes, so what I would like to do is firstly, go ahead and show you all what we have. Could I please get a share access from Waycross, please?
Coming up, Chelsea.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I just think it's important that you guys see what we are actually doing, and kind of
Okay.
what has gone on. I appreciate that. All right, so this document right here, this is what has gone out. So we discussed this. We didn't discuss it at length, I don't believe, but we talked about this being celebrating Black excellence, and what better way than to look at some of the businesses in our community as an extension of those ones that filled out that the questionnaire, that they were a minority business and what type of minority business they are. So on February 15th, this was launched, and this is kind of the graphic that we used. Well, this is the graphic we used. I thought it was nice. And then this was so after, and I apologize, I'm stuttering so much. I'm a bit off because I had to rush home. So I'm a little not well. All right. So we launched this, sent this out and said, hey, please be aware that we are going to be recognizing a business. What they had the opportunity to do was to be able to still sign up on our form. That way people weren't excluded because, hey, maybe maybe they didn't sign up yet, or had forgotten or something like that. So we gave them another, it was about, I think 5 days that they could sign up on this form. And that went out through social media and emails. And then it got narrowed down to these businesses. These were actually Black businesses that were actually here. Either their business, their literal physical business was in our city, or they lived in the city of Forest Park and had a business that did business elsewhere. So this is what we used. That's for the announcement. I will go and show you the document that they actually completed. So they completed a Google document, and this makes it very easy for us to track who these businesses are. So I'm sorry, their nominations. So the community then gets to nominate their business. So here's that document. And this is what the community members this is what the community members complete. Okay. It also talks about if you would like to receive additional information about our city's minorities businesses, including events and resource opportunities, or to be part of the MCBI committee, please add your name and email address. And here's again the same list of businesses that were on that previous graphic. This is about us recognizing a single Black-owned business for the month of February. And we know that there are many more businesses in the city that people do not know about and also should. So that's also the the aim of this work. If you all see, you see that there's 355 responses. So I've looked at it. I looked at it earlier this morning, and it looks like we may have a very solid winner, but I can't show you the next page because we'll be able to see who's in the lead. And so it doesn't close. It closes on the 26th in the evening. So I don't want to be unfair and and share that. But the responses have been really great. Not only are we getting the responses in terms of the voting and nominations, but we also have a lot of emails. We've got, I think it was about 30 some emails when I checked a few days ago. So that's nice because that we need more people to communicate this work to. In terms of the mortar business, the business school, or I'm sorry, business accelerator that's coming in the spring, they did have a very successful community listening call on 2 Fridays ago, and people were very interested. I'm really excited about it, and I don't have any information in terms of their exact location. I know I contacted Paul about that, and so I've sent an email. So they said that they are going to follow up with me, and that they hadn't met since they had received the application. So I'm trying to get an understanding on how many applications we've received for that cohort and who's getting in so that we can acknowledge them. The award winner for the Black Business of the Month will be recognized in most likely our second council meeting on a Monday in March, which would be the 15th. We are also working on, I'm working on the March 16th on a Tuesday evening. This event would be titled Marching into More Money. And so this will be our first virtual money event concerning our minority businesses and available to them. And so we will send those things out we'll send out notifications about that next week by no later than Tuesday. Savon Gibson, he's one of the people, he's a financial services, owns a financial services company in Forest Park. And so he's done a really great job, and I've seen him in a lot of different virtual spaces. And so he'll be conducting the bulk of that workshop.
Does that conclude the report, Chelsea?
Yes, it does. I apologize, it does.
Okay. All right, Paul.
But I'll take any questions if there are.
I don't have the agenda, Paul. We still under new business or what?
This is the time of the meeting when we were going to have our guest make her presentation, and that was if everyone's is acceptable with that. Unless anyone has any questions for Councillor Clark before we move on.
Just a question. Is there a similar initiative going to be done for the Hispanic community and women?
Yeah, theirs is coming up in the spring. I think theirs is, I want to say it's May or, there's one for that and for Women's Month. There's like a month that we recognize women as well.
It's in March, I believe. We do women in March.
Good, thank you.
Will this award be given every month, or this is just something that just happened for the month of February and acknowledged in March for the minority-owned business?
The latter. So yeah, I'm sorry. So yes, this is just a one-time award for Black History.
The one thing I would say, at the end of the year, we do our annual business recognition awards. I could see us incorporating a similar type of recognition into that awards program, recognizing, minority-owned, Black, Hispanic, women-owned business here in Forest Park. And maybe that's actually, an award that we would want to create, kind of moving forward, that would acknowledge those local entrepreneurs who do that in our community. I think it's a worthwhile recognition And it's one of the things we've talked about, I think, with that Chelsea has noted. Honestly, I think it's something that we should have been doing a long time ago. So I think this is a positive step forward, and it may be something we want to incorporate into our annual awards as well.
There is a Nepalese, there's incredible diversity here. There's a Nepalese community here. And it's amazing the number of minorities within Forest Park.
So Councilwoman Clark, I'd like to commend
So-
you for your efforts and tell you thank you very much. You did a very good job putting this together. So, round of applause to you.
Yep.
Thank you. And you make a really good point. Thank you so much, Commissioner.
No, not yet.
You are a commissioner. You are on the commission, an
Yeah,
Economic
right.
Development Commission. So thank you so much, Commissioner Adams. But no, you do bring up a really great point, Diane. Councilwoman Diane, Counselor Diane, good gracious. You bring up a great point. And so the hope and the goal is, when I put the information out and asked, hey, please get, if we could get some more assistance on this committee, because I am the committee, that's extraordinarily needed. So we had 2 people pop their heads up. And if I have 2 people, we can certainly expand and things like that. But I would love to see an actual, and I'd like this to be in the summertime, but an actual recognition of all this diversity in one event. And I would love to see food surrounding that event as well, because that always brings people together. So I think it's something we can build on, but I have to have, I'm getting too old to, to run my
Yeah.
races.
Pardon me, I had trouble with my line here. Did you say something, Chelsea? You're getting too, what?
I'm getting too old to run these races. So
I think she's the youngest member on the commission, isn't she?
Yes, she is.
Chairman Stanek, I had the same reaction you did to the comment. So
My reaction was I smell Similac. I smell.
okay, you guys are gonna have to see me cracking up. All right. Oh man, that's hilarious.
Chelsea, you make a good point. I know, Paul, that Emeritus has wanted to be very involved in some annual kind of public celebration, and something that might be around our diversity would be wonderful too. That if we could do some kind of annual thing that would celebrate that, we could bring in all elements of our community. I think that would be outstanding.
I think it's a great idea, and I think it's something, again, it's long overdue, and
really is.
I can't thank Councilor Clark enough for jumping on this and taking the lead, because we've talked about this at the beginning of the year. I think some of these are initiatives we talk about, we try to set up, and then for a lot of good reasons, they just don't get, it doesn't come together. So congrats to Chelsea for pulling this one together and getting us off the dime and moving us down the road.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I do want to just make a quick note to, I don't know if you have Facebook. I know Adams, Commissioner Adams, you have Facebook, and I don't know about you, Mr. Johnson. I don't know what you got. But, and I don't think Counselor Diane, I don't think you have it. But my point is that, what was so beautiful about it, I'm going to have to screenshot and show you guys, and Paul saw because I tagged him in them, but people were so excited, you guys. I mean, they were like, hey, my business is being considered as a Black business of excellence in my city of Forest Park. Please vote for me. I mean, people were so excited because they felt like, wow, there's some recognition. I am finally getting even just a nod. And I think sometimes we don't see the value and importance of just shining light on people that are just, they're working hard in their space, and just a little recognition goes a long way. And I think it can also go a long way in helping them stay here and help further our commitment to them so that they can grow to that next level. So there's that.
Very good.
It was the flyer last month, and there's a meeting on Saturday. What is that group?
Say that one more time.
Yeah, I didn't print it. I apologize, but there's a flyer. There's a meeting on the 27th for African American Council or something, some kind of business thing on this Saturday.
Is it Black Achievers he's referring
Black
to?
Achievers.
Oh, so Black
Yes.
Achievers is, I mean, they're a loose partner. They're not necessarily a formal, we haven't done the paperwork, but that's not us.
Oh, okay.
But our residents are, excuse me, but I've shared it because our residents, excuse me, and our community is more than willing, more than welcome to attend that. Oh, and I will, and I'm glad you mentioned that. So somebody was like, well, Chelsea, your business isn't on there. I live in the city of Forest Park. I have a business. Just for conflict of interest purposes, I felt like it wasn't in good order for me to put mine on there, even though I'm a legitimate business and stuff. So that's why mine is not on there. I just didn't want there to be any issues whatsoever. So
And that's why I didn't submit our business either, because for that reason, yeah.
Will you submit my business? Because I need the $1 million prize money. I'm sorry.
But for that reason though, Chelsea, and we can talk a little bit more offline, but while we're on the discussion, because my business is in Forest Park, your business is in Forest Park, and then we have other people have businesses in Forest Park, and we're looking at this as a annual event during Black History Month, but possibly we can try to incorporate, I think, along with the other businesses in Forest Park, some form of a subcommittee, committee, meet and greet, maybe semi-annually or something, one, just to keep the momentum up.
yeah,
And then also too, so that we can have the acknowledgement of all of these businesses. So, if 30 people go to my website and look at my business, yeah, but if 30 people call me, to say, hey, you have a service that I need, that would be phenomenal. So I would like to figure out how we can, in some respect, keep the momentum going. I'm sorry, Councilwoman Herbie.
we
go ahead.
will.
No,
So
no, you made a good point about a website. Maybe a website should be developed for the group.
That would be nice.
That's a great idea. So you mean asking Rob so that we can get like a page on there? So
Well,
I mean, I did.
You can have a link from ours to a website. I'm sure he
That's
would
fine.
put
I can build
I'm
it.
sure he'd
I
put
mean,
a
I
link.
built
Yeah.
another company's website here in Forest Park last month.
And
So it's,
I'm sure all you have to do is talk to Rob. He'd put a link to it from the website.
Of those
so
businesses.
we would have to talk about, I think we'd have to get an approval for one, who that site is going to be. And actually, Paul, if you could just tell us what the steps would be to get that approved, and then the amount of like financial commitment from the commission that we could potentially get, or how that would work if we have to seek it outside, or what that could look like.
I think we may have to look outside for dollars. I'll have to check. We do have some money set aside in the budget for this year. So I have to see what we have. The other thing, as far as the approvals, I think it's just a matter of, probably discussing it with the city manager. And, as far as providing a link, I don't think there's any issue with doing a link, from our site. It's probably, you may want to host it independently of the city, just because then you have a little more freedom, maybe with the site itself. Over content, over, whatever you want to do. We can do it as a part of ours. I will tell you, I don't know how much activity we get on the website. We get a lot more activity on social media, but I like the idea of having a website for this, but maybe it's our own standalone, and we just come up, maybe you and I can work together a little bit, come up with what the cost might be, to host the website, put it together. And then, like we said, we can put the link on our website, and then, use our social media collectively to kind of get the word out about it.
I think, when I created I created the historical site page for the city of Forest Park. And I did that through their backdoor admin. And I think we could probably do it just as easy as that. It didn't cost, I mean,
Yeah.
it didn't cost
You're,
anything.
you're
but
right. I think that's
It's just
true.
a page. All I have to
Yeah.
do is go, as long as I get the permission, I can just go in and like develop the page. And then at least there's a home for the stuff.
Right, right. I'd say all we gotta really do is talk to Dawn, get the ball started, to the city manager.
Excellent idea,
Get a little
Diane.
more formal.
Yeah.
Diane.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
if it was an umbrella site for just minority businesses.
Yeah.
And then you could drill down and there'd be a segment that would go to the, Black minority and all the different sub-minorities.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And then events coming up, and then, I think that would be great. And I don't think we even need a whole nother website, really.
Right.
Right.
I think the other piece to consider maybe kind of goes into the next part of our meeting, but I think it could possibly offer a wonderful segue of this whole rebranding that we're doing with the things to do in Forest Park, where to eat, where to shop, who if you need you need your garage door fixed, or you need interior exterior painting done, or girls night out at the STEM shop, so
But Trevina,
I'm serious. I mean,
well, but
think about
the next door link thing does all that kind of stuff.
okay.
And you'd be probably duplicating what they're doing.
But,
Okay.
but I think you have, but here's what's good about this is that we are actually conversing and we are brainstorming and we are coming up with really good things. So maybe I should say, hey, can we meet offline about this? There's going to be a meeting. Please come to the meeting and then offer that stuff there and we can kind of drill deeper. So would that make more sense? Should we do that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So I will email you. Let me get my, I had 2 of my coaches drill me with 8 different boards today because they realized that my scheduling is a hot mess. So after I put all that stuff into making it make sense, in a couple days, I will give you and send you an email with some dates, and then let's meet and bang it out.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, ladies, so much.
No problem at all.
Ladies.
Thank you, Chelsea.
Gentlemen.
And gentlemen, I wonder if we go to Park Place, can we get some free chicken wings? I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah, it's on the house.
Usually can.
All right, Paul.
Maybe.
Well, everyone, actually, this is a good lead-in to our presentation tonight. And I know, and I want to thank Ashley Barrow for kind of sticking around for us. And my apologies, Ashley. We need to put these presentations at the beginning of the meeting, not at the end. So but I appreciate you taking your patience and staying with us. And I want to turn it over at this point to Ashley Barrow. And I want to thank Ashley because, again, she kind of reached out to us and offered her services and her expertise to kind of create some marketing materials that could help us do, well, I think some of the objectives that Trevina was just talking about. So Ashley, if you would like, I'll turn this over to you and you can jump on and get started.
All right, guys, thank you very much for having me out tonight. I'm so pleased to be here. Am I able to share my screen?
Yes, ma'am, you're turned on.
Post disabled. Okay. I'm not able to right now. Do you, let me see. Try again.
Right
Post
now,
disabled part
so
screen.
right now I have you as co-host. So let me.
I am on twice. If you could just let me, the word Ashley with no picture on it.
Oh, okay, that would be do
Sorry
it.
about
Okay,
that.
no problem. I have to find you. There you are.
All right.
Okay. And okay, give it a try now.
All right, wonderful, wonderful. So again, thank you guys so much for allowing me to be here today. Are you guys able to see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I want to start off by saying how much I admired this city as a child. Growing up, driving down Waycross, I always wanted to buy a house on Waycross. I thought it was very beautiful, very well taken care of, landscaped. I always understood that the individuals that worked here, you know, not only had a career, but a lot of times had small businesses. And that's what I grew up and I wanted to be when I was little. So I always thought of the city as somewhere that I wanted to be and raise my family. That opportunity came true when, in about 2015, when I became a homeowner. And I've admired the city and my kids. I've been able to raise my kids here, and I'm so happy to be here. So I want to start off by just telling you a little bit why I'm here. I have proposed an integration marketing plan for you all. I think it would be very good based on the conversation that I just heard. Is very timely. And it's also something that seems like you guys are all interested in. So I'll just go ahead and get started. A little bit about me. I have over 15 years experience in transitions of care. I started my first campaign under the Money Follows the Person campaign, which was federally funded through the state of Ohio. Further on, I went to the acute care side of things and worked with many different hospitals through Encompass Health, many different hospital systems, and grew that market so much so that Kettering Health Network actually sought me out to become a rehabilitation liaison. And I was able to grow that new unit upwards of 80% in census, and then their case mix index of 90%. So very, very proud of my background in marketing and what I've done with campaigns. So my objective today is to contract with the City of Forest Park to integrate businesses and residents through identifying barriers to quality of life and businesses of influence to be published in a community resource guide. Okay, the need. I've heard you guys all night long, and then I've also looked up your website and seen what was going on, and the need is for recruitment, retention, and redevelopment. Paul has some really great things that is coming down the pike. I wasn't aware of it as a resident, but I am so excited to hear all of those great things that is going on down the pike. When I went driving around, all I kept seeing was this position for progress. And I got very happy about that because this is our position for progress. We have so much opportunity here in the city to actually bring up and spring up new businesses. And I'm just very excited about that. And I want to be a part of it. That's why I reached out to Paul. So what I'm thinking for a solution to get started, because there's so much going on with COVID. I'm 36 years old. I understand that I'm probably average age for a lot of the individuals in the area. And what we look for our quality of life and things for our family is healthcare, education, job opportunity, transportation, shopping opportunities, recreation for our children, and healthy access to food. And that may very well be right here in the city, but a lot of the times the residents are not aware of what we have right here in the city. And what I've done in all of my career to make things grow is I take what is there and I make individuals, clinicians, hospital administration aware of their own resources to use those resources to grow things. Integration. That's what I've done all this time to become successful. And what I've seen here in the city is a definite need, especially with COVID, to identify business, service delivery. Things are different now with COVID. Frisch's is selling toilet paper. We don't really know what times things are opening or closing. Are people meeting face to face? Is it virtual now? Residents just don't know to spend the dollars here. So a lot of times we're going outside of the city to find things that we would typically find here in the city. So what my solution is a community resource guide to highlight individuals and businesses. We want to market or basically create a way for individuals to know exactly what these businesses do, where they're located, contact information, access to an email address or some type of contact information, and then as well as if there's a website or social media outlet. And just to get a little bit personal, I can even tell you a story about what happened to me. So me here in Forest Park, working from home and doing things for my business, noticed a lot of things need to be fixed around the house, maybe cosmetic, you know. So I reached out to a couple of friends to try to find out who was a contractor that can help me out. had the money and everything, and found somebody on Facebook. They responded pretty quickly. Didn't know them from anywhere. They came out pretty quickly. They started doing the works. They asked for a deposit for the amount it would take to get started and things like that. Gave them a huge amount of money. They started the work and then they left. And I was not able to get that work finished for months. I had to shop around, try to find somebody who knew somebody. Eventually, I found somebody that lived right on Waycross in Mill Road. And that person came over here. They were happy. They were excited that I was a homeowner, that I was a business owner at Forest Park. They came in, they did their work, they got paid. Then they called and they checked on me and see how I was doing. And not only that, if my son is riding their bike down the street and need air in the tire, that's the guy who pumps the air for him. And that's what a community is. And that's what I would like for us to get back to, is community. So we have a marketing plan in place. What we like to do is a step-up plan, 2021 to 2022 is what I'm thinking. We understand that this idea has come about kind of later on. You guys probably already have budgeted plans and everything like that. What we like to do is provide a vision, accountability, and responsibility to that position for progress campaign. We'll like to get the residents involved, and we'll like to get the businesses involved. From that, we'll like to create market research and analysis around that and target individuals that are, or businesses that are not really inside the city, but are big influencers on our residents. So for example, your Mercy Fairfield Hospital, your Humana that's in Springdale, your Molina that's in Springdale. Get these guys to the table and see what resources they can offer to help our residents and maybe help with this campaign or help with this resource guide. Maybe they can help with the planning. Maybe they can help with some sponsorship. Maybe they can help with some accountability for how our health in our society right now in this city is going and how they can help us out in that way. In 2022, we plan on having that guide completed, website based, and then also some hard copy because some individuals may need the hard copies. We'll push the advertisement and distribution, and then we'd like to finish that off with a community event to tide residents and then also tide the businesses together. So there's people using the businesses and knowing what the businesses are here in the city. So fee schedule. We understand, again, the budget and everything like this, and this is negotiable. We're looking at like a 9-month fee schedule for this year, starting maybe sometime in March, ending sometime in December. We're looking at about $1,500 a quarter to try to get, the businesses identified, doing the market research and analysis, and then creating that territory, that profitable territory where we're getting these businesses of influence at a table and representing our people, our city. How we would prove that we're getting the work done is we'll have benchmark studies and can present them in opportunities such as this, as well as next steps. And what we'll ask from the city is full support. We'll just need you all to maybe educate your staff about the community resource guide, and then also make the residents aware that there's one coming out so we have the credibility behind it. That's pretty much what we need from you all. In conclusion, we like to provide this community resource guide just to bring knowledges of businesses to other businesses so they can use the businesses in the city. Knowledge of businesses to residents, so residents are not going outside of the city to look for things that we have here already. And then also to improve quality of life and to increase city revenue. So that's all I have for you guys today. I thank you so much for allowing me to come and present. I hope that this is something we can all work together on. I have lots of different ideas for campaigns and things like that. I'm right here in your city, and I want to be a part of helping you guys in development. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ashley.
Thanks a lot, Ashley.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Ashley, thank you very much. What we're going to probably be doing, the commissioners have been reviewing different proposals on marketing and different concepts for marketing and how we might do it. It's quite possible we could incorporate elements from all of these different plans into a comprehensive plan. We had a little bit of discussion. I think there's going to be a possibility for us to, from a budget standpoint, kick some of this off this year, but it may be part of kind of opening the door to some of these relationships this year and putting together a comprehensive marketing campaign for the following year. But we do have some dollars in the budget to get this started. So I think what we need to do is kind of, we may, and this is a suggestion I think for the commission, we may need to take our, whether it's the next commission meeting or the April meeting, and kind of take all of these proposals together and kind of have a brainstorming session amongst the commissioners on, next steps that we want to take, how, prioritize these, what do we want to do first. I think there's probably room to work with, a number of different entities in this process, but I think we just need to kind of figure out next steps for us as a commission in the city. And I can actually come, work with Don, come together with a budget at what we're going to have available in 21, and then we can start putting together a budget for 22.
Any questions from any of the commissioners for Paul or for Ashley?
I was just trying to get clarity. When she says she's going to make this list, is it to make, she just shared the story about getting scammed. Is this list that she's going to create, is it going to filter out those kind of companies? Or is it just simply saying, I'm a business in Forest Park, I'm on this list, boom?
Hello, right now we can go into specifics about what you guys are looking for, what the true need is. The idea is that the residents would be aware of what businesses are here in Forest Park. If anybody is like me, again, I moved here in 2015. That was right around the time when the housing market was a little bit low. I was able to get like a 4-bedroom home for dirt cheap. And me and several of my friends moved to this area for the very same reason. And we're all kind of like, well, where we want to stay here in the city. Why are we going to Kenwood? Why are we going to different places to a laundromat, even laundromats? So we haven't gotten to I don't know what the particular need is. This is just what I'm seeing on my day-to-day. And I think that this would be very beneficial to individuals like me.
Any other questions? All right, Paul, what else?
Thank you.
Good
Thank
presentation.
you again.
And
Ashley.
Ashley, thank you so
very
much
much,
for joining us. It was a great presentation. Thank you.
What do we have next on the agenda, Paul?
Actually, that brings us to the end of the agenda for this evening. I was explaining before we started tonight, we had hoped that we might have a redevelopment plan to look at for one of the commercial properties, but that hasn't come to fruition yet. So hopefully that'll be something we have on the agenda for next month. But that brings us to the open discussion and then adjournment.
All right, open discussion. My mind reminded me that I had that link on my cell phone and not in my email. So I sent each of the commissioners, and actually I didn't include you. I didn't know your cell phone number, and I'm not sure if the number, and I didn't write it down during your presentation, the 5690 number, I think it was. Is that your cell phone?
Yes, it is. It is. The 646-5950.
5950-646. Are you in need of that link for the COVID shot?
Sure, that'd be great.
All right, I will send that to you after we're done discussing here. I just wondered if everyone had received that link that I sent to them on their cell phone. See, my mind isn't with it. I have it all typed, I have an address, but I forgot to hit the go button.
Oh,
I apologize. So you should be getting it shortly.
No apologies needed. You get a pass today. You've got a lot going on. We appreciate you being here and facilitating the meeting.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Well,
Yes,
Paul,
I did receive it.
you all know this. I mean, most of you have been on the commission for at least a couple of years. The only time I ever miss, Paul, is if I have to go to a funeral in Pennsylvania or something. And one time I was sick, Paul. I was in the hospital.
And that's why I called, because I was worried you might be sick, because that's the
Yeah.
only thing, that's the only one I remember is when you were sick.
Yeah,
So,
I was sick.
that's why I wanted to check. But and again, our thoughts and prayers are with you and your family. And
Thank all of
if
you.
there's anything we can do on our end, all you just don't hesitate to ask.
Just the prayers will help. And
Right.
Ron and Chelsea, if you can help me out and perhaps everyone else, excuse me, because you both contracted COVID. Do you guys still have to get shots, or do you have a built-up immunity because you had COVID, or what? Ron, can you go first? What's your story?
I am not aware. I've never asked that question. So I don't know if I have built immunity or not. So that's just sort of like if you watch TV, the parameters keep changing. So
Yes.
I have
Yes.
like a doctor's appointment coming up. So I was going to ask then, but it's very, I don't know how that works.
Okay. Chelsea, can you comment?
I'm sure Counselor Diana's trying to tell us.
Oh.
But
Well-
on Monday I have an appointment with my doctor, but I'm not sure. I know that the concern is I was so sick. It's not something I need to get again. So
Well, you had it after Ron, and my daughter had it the same time as Ron, and she was in bed sick for like 10 days, 2 weeks. I mean, she had a very, very bad flu, is what she said. And she still has, and I asked Ron this a week or two ago in our discussion. My daughter still has today, and this has been 3 months, what they call COVID fatigue. Are you guys aware of that?
Oh, yeah.
oh yeah. It's hard to get I fall asleep a lot of times. I don't know I'm asleep yet.
Yeah.
Fall asleep. I can't wake up. I mean, I wake up, but it's really tough and I can't go at the same pace, and it impacts a lot of it's impacting my business. I can't
Yep.
do it much. And
Diane, did you want
Well,
to check something, Diane?
yes. Early on in this pandemic, I had a good friend who has a medical background, and that immunity can fade. And so it is recommended, I believe, and there are cases of people who have gotten it a second time. So I think the recommendation is to be safe, go ahead and get the vaccine. But both of you have scheduled doctor's appointments. Talk about that with your doctor. But I think the recommendation is go ahead and get the vaccine.
Yeah. Well, you know, this is all brand new to everybody. I mean, even these experts at the CDC are learning stuff every day, and they're changing their processes and changing their recommendations. I mean, this has really been a very, very bad pandemic with a lot of unknowns. And hopefully these vaccines will be effective, I'm hoping, because the more and more of us that get it, and if it is effective, this could be gone by the end of the year, hopefully, maybe sooner, I pray. So I just thought I'd ask Ron and Chelsea because I think they're the only two commissioners that contracted it. Am I wrong? Nobody else, okay. Paul,
well, in our last meeting, Ron actually spewed his germs and gave it to me. So
you had it before.
fine until he got on the call.
You had it before our last meeting.
Not cool.
Okay. Did anyone not get the link that I sent at this time? I would hope you would have got it by now. It's been about 5 minutes. I sent it at 8:06. It's 8:11. And it's ArmorVax. And there is an app. When you go to this site, they will tell you to download the app into your cell phone, which I did, but I didn't use it. And when you try to create a name and password, a username and password, you can't really generate a password. They ask you for your cell phone number or your email to send you a code. And each time you sign on, which was twice for me, they generate a new validation code for you to put in as your password. And then you can get onto the site and find out the times available.
Since we have kept going, it gave me time to dig out my schedule. Trevina and Diana, you all had the most interest, I think, in meeting and brainstorming. Next Wednesday at 6 o'clock is a great time for me on my schedule. Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday are horrible, and Friday I try to.
Which day? Wednesday?
Yeah, Wednesday the 3rd.
I'm checking my calendar now.
I'm fine anytime that day.
Oh, yay.
What time are you suggesting, Chelsea? I would be
6.
interested in attending.
6 p.m.
Councilor Clark.
Seis en la
you-
noche.
Councilor Clark, if you send me an email, just so I don't forget, because I am old, if you send me an email, I'll be more than happy to set that up as a Zoom meeting if you'd like.
Oh, thank you.
We can do that from here, and then that way, if that makes it easier for everybody, we could do it as a Zoom meeting next Wednesday at 6. I'll be more than happy to set it up.
I am not going to not accept any additional assistance, sir.
Yep, just make sure you shoot me the information so I do not forget. But I will set it up for next Wednesday, and I'll circulate it. Do you want me to circulate amongst all of the commissioners and then whoever can attend, or just those individuals, or?
That'll work for me.
Do you have a target time?
I said 6 o'clock.
Thank you. Sorry.
That's okay. No problem.
I'll send it to everybody, and then just let us know if you plan on attending.
Okay, thank you. I would like to attend that. I'm free that Wednesday for a change.
I am also free that evening. So
What? Say that one more time.
Yes, I'm checking my calendar now.
All right. Okay, so that's actually not even true. So I forgot. Okay, so my son has training. Okay, but 6:30.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
6:30 is that okay? I'll send 6. If it's 6, I'll be still in my car. But I will send, and I'll be really honest with you. I doubt that I'll have too much of an agenda. So when I send that request to you, Paul, whatever I have on the docket, that'll be it. But this is kind of our first rodeo in a bigger meeting with other people, and so we're going to kind of use those things that we talked about before. There will be directives, but you probably won't get them till Wednesday. This is probably going to be what it's going to be.
No problem at all.
Okay. All right, with that, I've got to go. Yes.
No, I was going to say, I have a commissioner question, and maybe this may be an etiquette thing where we may need to talk about it later. So please correct me if that is the case. But I'm just curious, with our desire and our interest to market, you will, Forest Park as the amazing community that it is. I do believe that we've had some discussion about what that is going to look like, but I was looking through some old notes and minutes, and I really could not find anything, and I may have missed it, but couldn't find anything that really defined what our goal was. And so if we've had those discussions and I missed it, or something was sent out for us to review and I failed to do so, I apologize. But again, I said this may be a commission meeting etiquette.
Before.
Yeah. So
Well,
I like to have that discussion, because I really want to try to, when we have these presentations, and Ashley and the presenter that we had last month, and forgive me for not remembering her name, but when we have these presentations, I really want to be able to check off some of the things that we previously talked about, to say, okay, this person has the vision, and I don't have that. So yeah.
Well, the main thrust, the main goal of all of these issues has been to uh, entice and retain businesses into Forest Park. And starting last year, Chelsea was really the initiator of this to entice minority businesses, Black businesses. And it started with the, I think, correct me if I'm all wrong, Chelsea, started with the job fair at the high school. That's when you really put together the table and the format for enticing minority business in the Forest Park. Is that correct?
Yes, and identifying. The first phase of this was the identification because we don't have a database. But I think to Trevina's point, we have talked about this. And when I say we, it's been Diana and the commission. I mean, we talked about this a little bit before you came on, Ron and Trevina, but we talked about, hey, we need a strategic plan. What you're really talking about is a strategic plan that is all encompassing. And what we have are kind of like
Bits and pieces.
elements, but we don't have in order to do that, you have to, it is a force to be reckoned with. It's going to cost a great deal of money, and it takes a lot of time and a lot of coordination, not just amongst city city workers and that, but you're talking about all your stakeholders, your residents. It's a very large undertaking. I think one of the reasons, to my understanding, that we just have not gone full throttle with it is one is a financial challenge. And then, so what we said was, okay, in this commission as the EDC, what elements of it can we kind of take and carry so that we can at least start to fill in these pieces? And so as my understanding is, these elements, the minority business thing, this opportunity are steps to kind of put things on track.
Yeah. And to piggyback on that, this is not just confined to economic development. This has been a process also at the city council and city level, an overall strategic plan, and it's been kind of bumped to the back burner because of the pandemic. I know that the mayor wants to try to get back on track with that as well. So
Yes, and so I'm sorry, Chairman Paul, may I, or would
Go
you?
ahead, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
And I think that's great. And yes, Ed, we are trying to bring in businesses. And yes, Councilwoman Clark, we are trying to, get the most that we can with the dollars that we have. And I get all of that, and I'm excited about that. But to bring home something that Ashley said that I think is really key, and that was, it's an amazing place to live. I have amazing neighbors. And so, yes, I want the businesses and we want to get the biggest bang for our buck. But I think that when people are looking to settle with their families, that is key there. I want to be able to walk outside my door and know that the community that I live in is going to thrive, and that I'm safe, and that I am comfortable. And so I'm just wondering, like I said, with the presentations, wanting to assure that I'm not missing anything, and that I'm able to check off some of these boxes to say, okay, they get it. Because I do want to go to Ollie's and go shopping, but I also want to take a walk around my block after dinner on Sunday and be comfortable and be happy and wave at my neighbors and, or maybe walk down the Park Place and have, wings and a Coca-Cola with someone and know that, I'm in a great environment and I can, live, shop, and play all in one place.
Right.
So for our next meeting, Paul, then are we going to kind of put all of these presentations side by side? And then based on what we know to be our positioning for progress and our goals per the EDC and how that bleeds into the community's, supports and alignments and whatnot, will we actually kind of take a checklist through all that?
That was my thought with when we talked about putting this on the agenda, whether it's for the March or the April meeting. The only reason I said it might be April is there's one other company that had expressed some interest in approaching us. And I think their concept is a little more broad. And actually, Councilor Herbie and Councilor Clark, this company might be one that for the council initiative that city council is pursuing for community-wide might be more up, this firm might be more directed towards that angle. But this is exactly, Trevina, you hit it right on the nail on the head. That's exactly why I want to put this on the agenda, because part of what we were doing with this initiative was this wasn't going to be one that city staff brings to the commission and says, this is what we're doing, A, B, C, D. This was going to be the commissioners really putting input and kind of driving this, driving this particular initiative themselves and kind of telling us how they wanted to make this happen. So that's one of the reasons, if it seems open-ended, and you guys have all sat through meetings where I sit here and talk for 30 minutes, that we didn't want that with this initiative. We wanted this to be something that was kind of, kind of grew out of the commission, and that the commission was actually driving it.
No, baby, go ahead.
I have a comment for everybody. If you know anyone who is a police officer minority, tell them that there is an opening on our police department. I understand that we have a number of minorities already applying. So we've been striving for years to get more minority involvement. A lot of people have said, well, we have all these, Caucasian police officers and administrators and all that, but they don't understand the number of applicants of the minority have been very small. When we had 90 people 2 years ago come to the athletic field for the physical, only 6 of them were minority. I mean, that's less than 10% are applying. And then they have to pass the physical, they have to pass the test. I sat in on 5 days worth of police interviews with 7 officers and detectives of Forest Park, the police department. We interviewed 20 people, of which 4 were minorities. And actually, they had a minority in the final 2. And after all was said and done, when they did the background check, they found out that he had a crime on his record. So they couldn't hire that minority. And as far as females go, we lost 50% of our females within 2 months. And Diane's shaking her head because she knows this as well as I do, being on the commission, being on the council. One was a female who decided she didn't want to be a female anymore. And the other one was a female who we hired from Coleraine, that when she got here, within about, I don't know, Diane, 6-9 months, she was arrested.
Shorter
than that.
Short time.
Shortly after, she was charged with a crime of narcotics involvement. So the city has really aggressively tried to go after minorities to be part of the administration. Well, look at our city manager. We had a city manager who groomed here for 20 years and was named. He was named and going to be sworn in as a city manager, and he had difficulties and he had to drop out. So the point is that we have really put forth an effort to try to get minorities involved. So if you know anyone, particularly a minority, that's a policeman that wants to move to Forest Park has a very good police department. Ravina, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna ask, in our efforts to find qualified applicants, what exactly has been the recruitment process? With us being a smaller city, did you have something to say, Councilwoman Chop?
I do. So there's a report, you'll receive a report. There's a report that'll be out in a couple weeks, because I've been working with I'm the public safety chair. So I've been working with the officers, and I've gotten some really great intel on how the process is working. The process is not a bad process. Do not misunderstand that. It's not a bad process. But when you are a minority, when you are working in minority recruitment, it is not the same thing. And Mr. Johnson, you can attest to this when you're staffing. it is not the same thing. You're looking at sometimes even in cost associated with taking tests that sometimes people just don't have.
Yes,
Looking at so many different barriers that most of us would not look at as professional individuals, wouldn't look at as barriers, but those are the things that are existing. And so we are working to look at all of those elements and why those numbers are low. The other reason those numbers are low is it's not like Cincinnati Police Department where you have a whole lot of opportunity for advancement. When you're here, you're really just gonna kind of be in that position.
yeah.
A
Till
long
somebody
time.
dies. I mean,
Okay.
you don't really, so that can be very limiting and stifling. So I just want to make sure that we're being as honest as possible, that it's a work in progress and that there does need to be more done in terms of really that minority recruitment, and the people are positioned and ready to put in more of that strategic work.
You know, I'm a very hands-on person, and I know this is really probably radical to some degree, but I would love to see the police department, and I'm just throwing this out there, set up a table in Kroger and say, hey, fill out an application, possibly, I mean, just wherever there is going to be an influx of, we can maybe find qualified candidates. And again, I know maybe setting up a recruitment table in Kroger might be a little too radical, but I would like to see some efforts being put forth. So possibly the people that live in this community or live in this city could actually participate in that, you know, possibly becoming law enforcement within the city. I would love to see that. I would, but I don't know.
Well, you know, that's why I'm bringing it up to the commission.
Yes.
To get the word out. I
Yeah.
mean, HR does a good job of publicizing on the city website, all the criminology departments at all the universities. Diane, help me out where else they might be.
Well,
publicized.
yeah, and there is about a year ago, the HR department got involved in sort of a network that does the recruitment, and that's why we've gotten a wider pool of candidates, because the testing kind of goes through that, and the candidates will say which communities they want their information to go to.
Mhm.
So we are in a network that has cast a wider net, that is
Mhm.
now doing the kind of this recruiting. But one of the other things that you have to understand, everybody is competing for minorities and women.
Yeah,
Everybody is. So when you do get candidates, realize that those candidates have opportunities all over the place.
Mhm.
And that makes it also very difficult.
It does. We're
Um,
living in a very sensitive
yeah.
time, very sensitive time right now.
Yeah, it's
It's
very
all-
hard, very hard. But it is an active goal of the city
Mhm.
to constantly reach out to try to attract minorities and women into our city offices.
yeah.
Trevina, you may want to take a look. Ed, I believe the civil service, don't they do their meetings virtually, so they're on Waycross as well, I think.
That's
You may
correct.
want to watch one of the Civil Service Commission meetings, one of the latest ones. It might help bring you up to where they're at. And then Councilor Clark, as she mentioned, works on public safety. So that one in particular, those are two great connections for you to kind of find out where we're at. I'll be honest, it's not an area that I'm as familiar with as probably Ed is. So with his work on civil service.
Yeah.
Well, there's another comment relative to employment. Diane, I'll need your help on this too, because I believe it's being posted probably this week for the maintenance worker.
Yes.
So there will be an opening for a,
But Ed, is that the engineer's position? The maintenance engineer? Because that's a technical position.
yeah, it's a technical position.
But it is out there. And if you qualify based on the job description, please spread that around, because it it's not just a maintenance position. It is a specific,
When we say
Maintenance
maintenance, it's not
engineering.
mopping the floors or anything. It's a technical.
right,
It's-
right.
You have to know how to figure out square feet, how many cubes of
Well, you know,
concrete.
yeah, you have to have,
Concrete
yeah,
we're gonna be
you have to
needed
have-
for a basketball court outside. You have to know how many yards of concrete you'll
Yeah.
put in for a sidewalk that's 4 feet wide and
right.
20 yards long. You have to be able to figure out things. You have to be able to put up drywall, fix plumbing, the flushes in a ladies' room, mess room, whenever you flush the toilet. Go ahead, sir. Say again, sir.
I think that's somebody's background noise.
Okay,
I apologize. I actually have another meeting that started 3 minutes ago. I'm gonna have to go.
all right, Chelsea, thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you, Chelsea.
Thank you, Chelsea.
And that's all I have. I just wanted to promote those 2 job openings in the city, and they are hopefully, will attract some minorities to increase the minority population of our employment. But I have to tell you, it's not due to a lack of the effort on the administration or the HR department. I mean, it's not due to a lack of effort. They are trying.
Hey, I don't know if it's still on. What about that rolling sign they have out front? Like whenever baseball season or soccer comes around, and when I drive by that sign, I'll see that sign that says, hey, sign up for T-bar, sign up for this. Can they advertise on that sign, or is there some restrictions? I don't even know if it even still works anymore.
I don't even know who does that.
I can't, well, it's probably the IT department that sets that up, Diane.
I don't know who, I don't know if that's a police department. I don't know who has control of that sign. Paul,
You'd
you
be
do.
right
You
on
know?
the corner.
Yeah,
Well,
that would be a
Well,
really good
no,
way to
the one
advertise.
that's in front of the municipal building.
Yes,
That's by IT. But he's talking about a mobile one, aren't you, Ron?
No, I was talking about that one in front. It usually,
Yeah, but I
Hey.
think I've seen positions posted on that before.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think they usually do post them, but we can bring it up and
Yeah.
mention, we can mention it to the
Yeah.
city manager as well,
Yeah.
and the assistant city manager.
all right, that's all I have. Does anyone else have anything to add?
No, other than Ed, please take care of yourself and take care of your family.
Yeah.
Again, thank you for facilitating the meeting.
yeah.
Use your resources that are around you to help you. If you need anything, give Paul or myself or Diane or
Mhm.
Robert or any of us a call, and we were available to you. I think it's safe to say that. I don't think anyone just
And Ed, you said it was breast cancer?
Yes, ma'am.
If they caught it early, I'm a 2-time breast cancer survivor.
Okay,
So if they caught it early, it's very survivable.
it
Get
will
in.
probably not be a mastectomy. It'll probably be a lumpectomy.
A lumpectomy, yeah. Yeah.
And they're gonna, it hasn't been decided yet. The options have been presented to us. This is what we could do. We have to talk to a medical oncologist next, who's gonna decide, do we just want to give the chemo and see if it shrinks small enough that we don't even have to operate? Or do we want to do the chemo and then operate anyhow? So we're still in the
Yeah.
the fact
First
finding
stages.
stages of this. Yes, ma'am. But thank you for your
But good luck,
question.
yeah. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you. Well, she's 48, which I'm guessing is not too young for breast cancer for women. I don't know enough about it. But having been a cancer survivor myself, I'm a 3-time melanoma survivor, stage 4. And my oncologist tells me, you're the only guy I know that had 3 metastasized melanoma cancers and still walking around to tell about it. So I'm very blessed. So
Yeah.
very lucky. Okay, thank you all. Thank you.
Oh, I
Dana,
just had
for-
one more thing to add, guys. I did want to say this. I know I'm not really a part of, but I did want to let you know that the healthcare entities around here know that Forest Park may be in some kind of disparity or with health, and they want to help. They just need to know. So I just want to bring that to your attention. Thank you guys so much for today.
Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you, Ashley.
Okay, well then we'll see you all in a month on another Zoom meeting, I presume, unless
Probably.
something positive really skyrockets in regard to this COVID. I hope that it's over soon. Thank you all again. We'll see you in a month. Thank you, community.
Good night,
Waycross,
everybody.
take care all.
Thank you, Tony.
Take care.
Take care, Richard.